everyone, I'm here with my wife Susan, and we talked today on our Family Minute radio program about how you handle conflict. Well, some of us are turtles and some of us are skunks. And as we said, what turtles do is at the first sign of trouble, at the first sign of conflict, what do? They put their old head into the shell.
Not in our family though, we're all skunks.
That's right. On the other hand, what does a skunk do? Well, at the first sign of trouble, if there's any problems, what does that skunk do? He sprays a horrendous odor all over the place and everybody gets a big whiff of it and everybody is impacted by it. Well, I don't think we should really strive to be either a turtle or a skunk. Instead, what we should probably do is strive to be like the wise owl. And the wise owl is very good at seeing, is very good at hearing, and also then, after they have seen and heard, then they make a decision and then they react after they've been thoughtful through the process. So, for those of us like me who aren't always very good listeners, we've got a little technique that may help you in your home and maybe at work as well. And it's called the speaker-listener technique. So we're going to start and do a little role play for you. I have the floor right now because I have the object, right? So, Susan, Marky is already playing two sports. He's playing basketball and football, and I think he should really continue that as he goes into his sophomore year. I think it's important for him to have a sport year-round, half the year basketball and half football. I think that's very important for a young man to be able to do that, and I think he can keep up with his schoolwork.
All right, so what I hear you saying is that you think Marky should continue to play two sports.
Yeah, I do.
All right. My concern is this. This year he did fine because he was a freshman, but the workload in school is going up, and he's been bumped up in one of those sports to varsity, which is a lot more practice, it's a lot more intense, and I just see him, there was overlap in those sports, so there were a couple days where he was having to go to one coach or the other coach and say, you know, I can't make it to this practice, and he felt a lot of pressure, and I just think it's getting too much because then he doesn't have time to study.
So I hear you saying that you think it's getting to be too much, that there seems to be a real conflict and tension between the two sports, just maybe too much for him to get everything done.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So that's an example of how you can use the speaker-listener technique, and can you see how when she paraphrases back or I do, it really forces you to listen and to look at the other person. So, Susan, what are the benefits of using the speaker-listener technique?
Well, I think you have to remember a few things. Normally, we get much more heated. It's usually more crisis situation. So the important thing is it makes you slow down. It keeps the argument from escalating to the point where you're not listening to the person, you're thinking of your reply. So the important thing is when you don't have this, you tend to more look at the person and focus. I think the other important thing is for us, because we're kind of passionate people, is to watch your facial expressions, because you could be looking at them and listening but be like this the whole time, like what are you going to finish, you know? But that kind of, so it's important to remember your body language, and then it may seem silly at first to do this, and yes, we're adults and should we have to do this? No, but because of our personalities we do. Try it, try to get used to it. Really, if you are not holding this, remember, you're not thinking of your reply. You can, once you have this, you can take a second to formulate what you want to talk about. And then, of course, the paraphrasing is really important because it makes the person feel like, yes, you were listening. And if you know you're going to have to paraphrase, you will actually listen.
So there you have it. It doesn't really just happen in one little conversation like that. Sometimes you have to come back to it over and over again before you make a final decision. So there it is. Thanks for being with us.